I want to thank you for joining us again for another episode of Sermon Highlights. Today we're here, and I'm here with Pastor Baldwin, ministerial minister for South Atlantic Conference. And sir, I want to thank you for coming back here and sharing with us. You gave us the message today, and the title of your message was Music in a Strange Land. And it goes back to Psalms where it talks about how can we sing the Lord's song in a strange land. Can you just talk a little bit about that?
Well, the strange land is a foreign place.
Right.
And of course, a place where perhaps as the Israelites were held captive in Babylon, and they faced humiliation, they faced oppression and depression from their captors.
Right.
And so even in this world, we think in the spiritual sense, the captor, of course, is Satan. We are the captives to a certain degree. But then the other side of that is the real side of enslavement of people of African descent in this country for almost 400 years, for well over 3 centuries.
So we can relate to...
We can relate to the Hebrews, the Israelites being in enslavement.
Yes.
And you have several people that perhaps God used as leaders, such as, of course, was mentioned, Harriet Tubman, so many individuals like that, that helped. But in this country, especially during slavery, post-slavery ills, throughout the 20th or 21st century, we have seen examples of oppression of people of color. And we have not had the attitude that the Hebrews had, hanging our harps upon the willows or the palm trees of Palestine. We have sang, we have performed with skillful instrumentation through slavery, through Jim Crow, through all of the post-slavery ills, through the civil rights movement, and even up to now what we see, what has happened in society, particularly the last few decades here. And so yet we have not succumbed to Satan's temptations of not singing the Lord's song in a strange or foreign land.
And I remember you were saying that, even, and I had it written down here, that God will give you a song in the midst of your struggles. And especially black people, when we're going through it, we're singing through it, we're moving through it. And God will give you a song to keep you, to push you along, to let you know that, hey, I'm right here beside you. I was listening to you when you were preaching, and I was sitting there saying, wow, yes. God will give his people a song. So even within that, and to me, when I was there and I'm listening, I'm saying a song is something that we sing that uplifts us, right? Even if it's a sad song, we find solace. We find that comfort within it. And I look at it, and it doesn't even have to be a song that God will give us in our midst of trials and temptation, but we may find that peace. Even if we're not singing, we may still find it. So I appreciate when you mentioned that today, that he will give us a song.
Well, you have the historical, well, you have the spiritual, and you have the historical context, and then you have, in a sense, the contemporary context of when we're talking about people of color, people of African descent in this country. One of the strange things, perhaps, or unique things, I should say, about music is that if the earlier part of the message, the music in a sense was a hybrid form of music. And I mentioned about the white, made over white hymns.
Right.
Okay. We took what the slave master did when we were allowed to worship in the midst. We took opportunity to do that. It wasn't until we were denied the privilege of worship that we went on our own. But we took what the slave masters gave us, and we made it improvised, and really a formed, I guess you say, creation, or created our own music, which spoke to our experience, and it spoke with expression. So I was trying to give an example. I don't know if it came through. I had a few songs. One was Amazing Grace. I think the other one was What a Friend We Have in Jesus, and Come Lead Us Constantly. So I chose to try to sing that the way we sing it.
Yes, I heard that.
So I wish my dear wife was here to hear that, to see her opinion. But it's no way that we can sing that straight. And me, myself, I feel privileged in a sense. My parents are from Southwest Georgia originally. They went up north. We had the Exodus in the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and even the 60s. But I used to hear my parents, particularly my mother, would sing what we call long expression, long meter songs. And so I'm accustomed to that. Right. So we have somewhat of a hybrid experience in this country in terms of music, but also it's just amazing how God has given us this ability in terms of music, whether singing or whether performing skillfully with instrumentation. It just amazes me.
Man, yes. And I know Black History Month, Music Day, we're big in music and all of that. But you mentioned something at the end of your sermon saying, at the end of the day, your aspiration, not to make it as a singer here, singing all these songs, but to make it in the kingdom of God.
That's right. When I went back and, I look at Exodus chapter 15, it has the song of Moses and it has the song of Miriam. But in Revelation 15, it has the song of Moses and the song of the Lamb.
Yes.
And so I wish I could have elaborated on that part, but it just means Moses, it was in a sense seemingly a temporary victory, okay? But with the song of the Lamb, it really indicates it's a permanent victory, over the beast, over his image, over the mark, and the number of his name, which I failed to mention in the sermon, but nevertheless.
You have it in the highlights.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Pastor, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for coming back here and sharing with us the highlights, the main points.
It's my privilege. My privilege, Elder Newell.
Yes.